Super easy. All right, so we're good there. Okay, the next thing we want to do is draw the face of the card. Okay, that King of Hearts face. Now, the face of the card is one of two ways. Either it's a face card, like the king, or it's just the pips, right? Little, like 4 of hearts is 4 little hearts in there. Okay, so we have to do both ways. So let's do the face card one first. Okay, so I'm going to do that up here, back in DrawRect. So I'm in DrawRect. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of have a design here where if I can find an image that has the name of the card, I'll use it. Otherwise, I'll try and draw pips. Otherwise, I'll draw nothing. Okay? So it's kind of a fairly safe way to go about it. If I can't find the face card image, then it'll just be, I'll still have the corners, but I won't have any drawing. So how am I going to do that? I'm just going to look up the image. I'm going to say UI image. Let's make more space again. UI image, face image, and I'm going to say UI image, I can use factor image, image named, and I'm going to make a string of format, and it's going to have the rank and the suit, okay? Self, rank as string, self, suit, okay? So there's the image name. So I'm going to look that image up, so that would be like J spades, right? 10 hearts. It's not going to find 10 hearts. There's not going to be this other thing, but there will be K clubs, right? It'll find those. So if it finds the face image, then I'm going to display it in the middle. Otherwise, I need to draw the pips, basically, because it's not a face card. And so let's put a little draw pips here. Okay, we'll do that later. So the face image, how do I do this? Well, really, I just need to tell UI image, draw this in the middle of my card, but I want to move it in from the edges a little bit, right? Because I don't want whatever the face image is, like a king, to smash my corners. Okay, my little king of hearts. So I want to move it in a little bit. So I'm going to create a rectangle to scale my image into, image rect, and it's going to basically be my bounds, except for I'm going to use this CG rect inset method here to inset it just a little bit. And I'm going to inset it by self.bounds.size.width times 1.0 minus a new property that I'm going to invent called face card scale factor. So the face card scale factor is going to be like 0.9 to be 90% of the size of my card. Okay, 0.9 would be 90% of the size of the card. And then same thing with size.height. Oops, heap sort, no. Height times, same thing, 1.0 minus self.face card scale factor. All right, and we have to go make this property, so let's go do that. Let's go up here, put it in our property second. I'll type it really fast. Again, sorry to have to use those, but some things are boring to type. All right, so I have this face card scale factor. It's a float. I'm going to override both the setter and the getter. Okay, in the getter, I'm going to make sure that it's at least a default value. Okay, 90% is going to be my default value, so it's at least going to be that default value. And in my setter, I'm going to call set needs display, because if someone sets that scaling, I got to redraw my card if it's a face card. Okay, everyone understand this? And since I do both the setter and the getter, look what I have to do: synthesize. Okay, everyone remember that? If you implement both the setter and the getter, you got to synthesize yourself. Okay, good reminder of that. Okay, so now I have this image rect, and it's inset by that, whatever that percent is, 10%. If it's, 90 would be 1.0 minus 9. That's 10% of my width, 10% of my height. And so now I just say face image, draw in rect, image rect. Okay, and it will scale it to fit in that rect. Now I need these images, so let's go grab those. I happen to have them handy right here. Okay, so here's a bunch of images that I have for face cards. Let's just go ahead and drag them into our assets library here. Image assets. So here's our image asset library. We don't have any yet. Drag that in there. While I'm here, I'm also going to drag our famous Stanford one. And actually, let's get the high-res one too. Okay, we'll use that as our card back again. Okay, so we got all our images here. So the images look like this. Let's put the high-res one in for the King of Hearts at least. So here's the King of Hearts. I have high-res for all of them, but just for time constraints, let's go ahead and put this guy right here. Okay, so we get that one at least. All right. I'd want to drag them all in for all of them. But anyway, so now I have these images. So now when I run, it's going to go look for the images of these names, you see, and it's going to find the King of Hearts there. Okay, so that's Suicide King, right? Looks pretty decent. Size is pretty good. Okay. All right, so now we are going to do two quick things. I know we're right on the edge of time here. We're going to do the gesture recognizers really quick. So I'm going to do two things. One is let's make this playing card view work face down. And we're just going to do that by saying if we're face up, then we'll do this, all this stuff. Otherwise, we will just do our background image, UI image, image named, favorite card back. I'm going to change it to that. And then draw in rect, self.bounds. So if the back, I don't have the corners, and so I can just go ahead and use the whole thing. So card back. Okay, so now we have the front, the back there rather. So now since face up, it starts out not face up. So here it is. But I need to flip this over. So let's do a swipe gesture to flip that over. Okay, and the swipe gesture we're going to do using Xcode. Okay, so swipe gestures go like this. You go down here, you get in the object palette, same place buttons are, and you'll see that there's these gestures here. And I'm going to take a swipe gesture and drag it onto the view that I want to recognize that swipe, which is my playing card view, obviously. Then I simply control drag from this little icon that appears down here. You see it? Swipe gesture. You can also do it from here, this little document outline, which we don't have time to talk about today. Okay, but you can do that too. But I'm going to control drag from here. Oops, go auto, controller, and you just drag it out. It's very much like target action. Okay, I'll call this a swipe just to make it clear. And the argument is a swipe gesture recognizer. I'm not sure why it doesn't default to that. And we have the swipe. And the swipe, all we need to do is say self.playingCardView.faceUp equals not self.playingCardView.faceUp. Oops. Up. Just flip it over. Okay. Here it is. I'm going to swipe. Okay. The default swipe direction, by the way, is to the right. So I'm swiping, and you can see that it's flipping the card back and forth. By the way, you can inspect which direction the swipe is by clicking on it and going to the inspector. And there's right, left, up, down. So that answers your question. Those are the only 4 there are. And how many fingers have to be involved? 1 finger, multiple fingers, etc. Okay? And lastly, I'm going to do a pinch gesture. And I'm going to do the implementation of the pinch gesture entirely in the view. Okay? So I'm going to add a new method to the view, which is pinch. And it's going to be a UI pinch gesture recognizer. Okay, now this pinch is really simple. It's just going to say if the gesture's state is changed, oops, not began, changed, or if the gesture's state is ended, okay, then I'm simply going to take this face card scale factor that I have and multiply it by the gesture scale. But I don't want that to accumulate. So I'm going to set the gestures scale back to 1.0 all the time. So the next time I get called, I'll get the incremental scale. Okay? So that's all that's necessary there. I'm actually going to make this public because I want to be able to add this gesture recognizer in my controller. So let's just add this here just so my controller knows that my card view is capable of this. Then I simply go in view did load and say self.playingCardView, add gesture recognizer. And I'm just going to create a new UI pinch gesture recognizer, Alec. In it, you'll see that this is the designated initializer. The target is going to be the view, and the action is going to be pinch. Okay, so that's it. So this is how you add this in code. Everyone understand this? So I'm adding it to this view. Creating it, this is the target, the view is going to handle it, it's going to handle the pinch. We handle the swipe, but the view is going to handle the pinch. All right, so let's see what does that do. That should allow us, when we have a card here, if I pinch, to change the size, because it's adjusting that face card scale factor, you see? Make sense? But all we need to do to add the deck here is to go back to our controller and add, well, first of all, let me drag the model in. I got my model right here. There's my model, same model we used in Machismo. And I'm just going to go here and add that deck. Strong non-atomic deck star deck. Let's go ahead and import playing card deck. Let's also import playing card. All right, so now we have that deck. Here is the lazy instantiation of the deck. You know about that. I'm also going to have this method I'm going to call draw random playing card. Okay, this method, it's just going to draw a card from that deck. It's going to see if it's a playing card. If it is, it's going to cast it so that we have a local variable. Then it's going to set that in the playing card view's rank and suit to the card's rank and suit. Okay? And I'm going to do that every time we swipe and it's face down. Okay? So that's that. So here it is. So now when we swipe over, we get different cards. Okay, we have no pips yet. I'm going to do that in a second. But we do have the face cards, the Jack of Diamonds. Kind of low res because I didn't add the other ones in there, but King of Clubs. Okay, now let's do the pips real quick. The pips are super simple, especially if you have a little snippet here. So remember we had this draw pips. Okay, I'm just going to replace that with an implementation of that. You can go look at this offline, what pips does. It's pretty straightforward. It just uses attributed strings or maybe even just regular strings to draw. So let's see what that looks like. So there's our card. And there we go. 6 diamonds, 4 clubs, 7 spades. And the last thing I'm going to do, let's resize this view and make sure it still looks good small, even with all the changes we made. So we'll make it like this big and run. And still looks okay. A little squishy with the pips, but let's see a face card. That's not bad. Okay, that's it for today. Sorry to keep you so long, and I will see you all on Monday.
For more, please visit us at stanford.edu.